This time I'm using a shallow dish. It measures about 14 inches in diameter. It rim to it. And for supporting the flowers, I'm using 2 pin holders. This one is set in a little dish, and that allows more water, more depth of water. The second one is a plain pin holder, which I'm going to sit on this china saucer. The two sit just in this container nicely, leaving a little space, and we will be putting water in now, and also it allows me to use some glass pebbles. These are red in colour, which, as you will see, will be complementary to my colour scheme. And I'm using oranges and burgundy colours with a little bit of lime green. I have these heuchera leaves, which are orangey rusty colour with a burgundy backing to them, almost the same colour as these magenta hellebores, which are at the stage where their stamens have gone and the seed head is forming. I also have 2 little pansies in a brick red, which I want to include, and this Tom Thumb Pittosporum, which again has brown glossy leaves. They are quite small and a fussy leaf in many ways, which is complementary to the larger heuchera leaves. And with those, my main flower is this beautiful rose, which is really more of a coral come apricot colour, which really picks up the colour of the heuchera leaves. They are roses from the Co-op, but they are of that frilly sort of variety, and they have opened up so beautifully. I'm starting off with placing the heuchera leaves, but this is really, everything is cut short. It is an arrangement which you would have on a table as a point of interest. With these heuchera leaves, while they are such a beautiful colour, their form is lovely. They have such an interesting fluffy edge. No 2 leaves are exactly the same. Some of them have a curvy stem, and I shall use that accordingly, but I'm really going to make a sort of rosette of leaves. I've brought along 5 leaves here, and I shall be laying them on that pin holder, ensuring this end of the stem is in water. With a pin holder, you need to possibly put things in an upright position, or if you're laying them, you've got to make sure that as they lay, the bottom of the stem is in water. Heuchera leaves need to be well conditioned. They need to be put in cold water overnight to make sure they're going to hold. If they're too young, they will go limp, which will be a great pity. But it's just so beautiful the way no 2 leaves are exactly the same. You know, some are a bit more brown, some are a bit more amber. When I say brown, I mean a rusty shade of brown. Having placed those heuchera leaves, I'm now going to place my main rose, and that's going to be in an upright position. Notice I've cut the stem quite short because, as I've already said, this is a low design. I don't want it to be too high. The second rose will be cut even shorter, and I shall place this to the side at an angle, again making sure that it is well fixed within the pin holder. The third rose is just tucked in alongside 2. And that's coming more to the centre of the design. So now that third of the dish is set up, and so I shall be arranging other things and really displaying the contrast of form and texture. Now the hellebore complements not only the leaf but also this lovely coral shade of the flower, and I want to have the hellebore so that you look into the flower because of that wonderful form and the developing seed heads. Now with this spray there are 2 or 3 on the stem. I'm cutting it and I'm going to be quite happy to see the back of the flower or have it in an upright position. So you see this flower from different angles, you can appreciate the markings on the petals. The next piece I'm putting in is this Pittosporum Tom Thumb, and it's quite a bushy form and low growing. It makes a nice shrub at the front of the border of your garden. Now I'm going to place in the rusty red glass pebbles. Most of them will be covered up, but you'll just get the glass shining through as you look into the design. The other benefit is that I can lay the pansies in that so their stems are in water. As I've said before, I just love the form of the base of pansy, and obviously these are going to be laid so that you can see their faces, but their form is quite a contrast to the Pittosporum. I obviously need a piece more Pittosporum in here. So far I've got oranges and orange to brown in the design, and now I think when I've placed this other pansy I need to just think about what else I need to give a change of texture. Now to do that I have got some of the moss from the lawn in the garden, and you could appreciate the lime green and the density of the moss is quite a pleasing contrast, and this really gives depth to the design. I'm still letting some of those glass beads show. And I also have a succulent here, which is another change of form and a point of interest. I've also placed in a red glass sphere. It isn't typically Christmas, it's faceted and it's in a sort of blood red colour, and you get sort of darker shade of red in it, and again that brings gloss. And now I'm adding a little bit of the wire, decorative wire. This has been sort of concertinaed, and I should just put a little bit of that over parts of the design, and I think that just enhances it and gives another little detail of interest when you look into the design. And what is so lovely about this is that you can keep this design going for several weeks really with just changing parts of it, because you've got plenty of stuff which will stay as it is, and you may want to just change some of the flowers and then some of the leaves. But it is a point of interest, as I've already said, and when you have visitors round it's quite interesting for them to look into it and see what you've used. Above all, It's so lovely to use things from your own garden border.